I'm Morgan. I wrote another poem. So the story behind this one is that one of my friends was trying to be helpful. She was trying to be helpful. She was coming from a place of like well-meaning and kindness and compassion. She shared a meme about how like don't tell people with disabilities that things can be worse. And that got me thinking that it's like, oddly enough, I find the idea that things could always be worse to be comforting or to be soothing, and that got me like kind of just like thinking that through, trying to figure out, okay, why is this? And it's because it's like, I feel like I've already experienced the worst that life is likely to throw at me. Like, I feel like I've hit rock bottom, as the saying goes, when I was 11 years old. And so I was like, I'm gonna write about this, because I feel like one of the ways that I really deal with or unpack like pain and suffering is through writing. I express myself through writing. So I wrote a poem titled Before. I miss who I used to be, back before hell and high water, or more so, during the tribulations of my life. I miss how I was headstrong, stubborner than a cat who refuses to drink. I miss how I always stood my ground, and always stood up for what was right, even to my own detriment. Always to my own detriment. I miss the person I used to be, before the soul in me broke, and I had to regrow, and try to heal, and live with the trauma, before I learned to smile despite the world, and to smile just for myself, for the sake of my own happiness. I was full of gumption. I was spirited and strong-willed, and I held my own opinions, and didn't bow down to what was or was not considered socially acceptable. I miss the me from before puberty, who would stand true to what she believed in, against the whole world if it came to that, who had not yet learned that it was best to just go along with whatever the person in charge said to do, who couldn't temper her words to save her life, and always spoke what was on her mind, the girl who had not yet learned the skills necessary to survive in society. I miss who I was back then, before I learned to conform. I've tried so hard to learn to fit in, to mask, to appear neurotypical, to be polite, and always apologize, even if I wasn't in the wrong. I miss the me from before I internalized the idea that I was the one who was wrong, that something was wrong with me, just for being different. I miss the me who didn't know how to pretend that she wasn't different, the me who was moody and temperamental and refused to accept compliments that I didn't ever ask for. I miss the me who would turn down small talk instead of the me who learned to make it, because I was locked in a carpeted room when I didn't. I miss the me who hadn't learned that being a good girl meant always graciously accepting compliments, the me who hadn't been conditioned to smile and act social, even when I didn't feel like smiling. I miss the me that stood up for myself, before I learned that the only way to avoid being locked up and isolated was to sacrifice my own wants, desires, and needs, before I internalized the idea that I wasn't worthwhile, before I believed that I was an inconvenience just for existing, that being autistic meant I was lesser than. I miss the me who knew I was equal and stood up for equality for all, instead of thinking that it had to be earned, because I've seen that, in practice, our rights are shape-shifted into privileges. I've experienced dehumanization, and the subtle toll that it takes on one's self-worth and aspirations. How it sucks out our hope for the future, and leaves us thinking our dreams aren't obtainable, the despair that comes, and the thought that things won't get better, that the only way things can get is worse, is life-draining, the fear that more of the same is all that's to come. That's worse than the fear that things won't get better, 'cause then there's nothing left to hope for, no pursuit of happiness left. I miss the me who had never been broken. I miss the me who had not yet had to rebuild her soul. I miss the me before the trauma, who had the hope of a better tomorrow, instead of the unerring reassurance that things could never again get as bad as they were before. Thank you.